Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Pearson, your elementary ELL teacher. Today we're going to do an oral retell for first grade journeys, lesson 14. And our anchor text is The Big Race by Pam Munoz Ryan. So for this lesson, we're going to turn and talk. That means I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to think about your answer. Then you're going to pair up with a partner at home, or you can be my virtual partner. And then you're going to share your answer out loud in a complete sentence or sentences. So, what is the genre or type of literature of The Big Race? Well, The Big Race is either fantasy, and fantasy means things that cannot happen, or The Big Race is reality, and reality means things that can happen. So the genre or type of literature of The Big Race is fantasy. And fantasy stories, here are some of our noticings. Fantasy stories are a make-believe story. Sometimes there are magical places. Sometimes magical things happen. Animals might act like humans. Animals might wear clothes. There might be monsters, aliens, or dinosaurs. Animals might be extinct in real life, and there can be events that can't happen, and the story might be funny. So we're going to go over the sight words and vocabulary because you may use some of these words when you're answering questions about the story. 2. 2 is a number. Most animals have 2 eyes. You can have a pair of or 2 shoes. So a synonym or a word that means the same could be pair. Number 2, into. Into means to go inside something. And a synonym or a word that means the same is inside. So 3 is 3. 3 is a number. 3 is a number that is one more than 2. So you could also say tri or triple, just like a tricycle has 3 wheels. Tricycle. Number 4 is starts. Starts means to begin. And also a synonym for starts is begin. Number 5, over. Over means that someone or something gets to the other side of something, or above. Over and above are related to each other. They mean similar things. They are synonyms. Number 6, 4. 4 is a number. A dog has 4 legs. A quad bike or an ATV has 4 wheels. So quad could also mean 4. Number 7 is 5. 5 is a number. People have 5 fingers on each hand. Penta also means 5, just like this pentagon has 5 sides. Number 8 is watch. Watch means to look at. And another word for watch could be look. Number 9, pace. Your pace is how fast you are going. So another word for pace is tempo or speed. Number 10 is anticipate. When you anticipate something, you look forward to it or expect it. So another word for anticipate could be expect. So here's our learning target. I can retell the story, The Big Race, using pictures, words, and sentences. So here are our success criteria or steps to success. Success criteria means how will you know you're successful at retelling the story, The Big Race, using pictures, words, and sentences. And again, here are our steps to success. Number 1, I will answer the talk about it questions. Number 2, I will say and match the main characters and setting. Number 3, I will put the retelling pictures in the correct sequence or order. And number 4, I will say and match sentences to each picture, saying what happened first, then, later, and last. And number 5, I will say and match the lesson or moral of the story. So let's go over our turn and talk rules. If you have a partner at home, number 1, eye to eye and knee to knee, you need to make sure you are looking at the speaker and facing them. Number 2, first one person talks, the other person listens. Number 3, then the next person talks, the other person listens. Number 4, do not talk too long on your turn or your partner will not have time to have a turn. You may agree with me and you could say, I agree with you, Mrs. Pearson, because, or you may disagree with me and say, I disagree with you because, and tell me why. So here's our first major event. You can reread about it on pages 126 to 127 of our Journeys first grade textbook. And here's your question. What does Red Lizard want to do and why? What does Red Lizard want to do and why? Well, in your answer, you can say Red Lizard wants to because, Red Lizard wants to because, well, Red Lizard wants to win the race because the sign here says win the big race, win this big cake, because he will get the cake if he wins. Here's our next major event. You can reread about it on page 131 in our textbook. And here's the question. What lanes are Snake and Roadrunner in? What lanes are Snake and Roadrunner in? So you can say Snake is in lane, what number? And Roadrunner is in lane, and tell me what number he is in. Well, Snake is in lane 3 and Roadrunner is in lane 4. How many more animals can run in the race? How many more animals can run in the race? So tell me, blank more animals can run in the race because, well, 3 more animals can run in the race because there are 5 lanes or 5 spots. So 5 take away 2 is 3, or 3 plus 2 more is 5. Here's our next major event. You can reread about it on pages 136 to 139 in our textbook. Why does Red Lizard win the race? Why does Red Lizard win the race? And you can say he wins the race because, he wins the race because, well, he wins the race because he keeps up a good pace. Remember, pace means how fast you are going. He wins the race because he keeps a good pace. He keeps going. What does Red Lizard say when he wins the race? What does Red Lizard say when he wins the race? So you could say Red Lizard says, Well, if you remember from the story, he says, "Watch me eat cake." So Red Lizard says, "Watch me eat cake." And he says this in front of all his friends. Here's the last major event. You can reread about it on pages 140 to 143. What does Red Lizard decide to do and why? What does Red Lizard decide to do and why? So you can say he decides to because, well, he decides to share the cake because he sees that his friends really want it as well. All right, we're going to retell the big race using these sentence frames or sentence starters. First of all, who are the characters in the story, the animals or people? So you can say the characters are, do you remember who the characters are? The characters are, well, the characters are Red Lizard, Roadrunner, Snake, Mouse, and Rabbit. Or I'm trying to think of his other name, Hare. So where does the story take, or Cottontail? I'm sorry, it was Cottontail the rabbit. Where does the story take place? The setting is, well, the setting is a track outside, a track outside. So let's put our pictures in the correct sequence or order in which they were in the book. First, later, next, and last. So, what happened first in the story? What did Red Lizard want? First, Red Lizard wanted, well, first, Red Lizard wants to win the race so he can have cake because it says, win the big race, win this big cake. So later, what happens? Later, the animals, the five animals get ready to start the race. They all anticipate winning. Next, what happens next? Next, Red Lizard, next, Red Lizard wins the race because of his fast pace. He says, "Watch me eat this cake." So last, what does Lizard decide to do? Last, Red Lizard decides to, last, Red Lizard sees how much his four friends want the cake. He decides to share it. So, Red Lizard is a good pal because what does he do? Because he shares with his friends. So Red Lizard is a good pal because he shares with his friends. All right, boys and girls, it's time to reflect on our learning target. What was our learning target? I can retell the story, The Big Race, using my words, pictures, and sentences. So, would you give yourself a 4? I could teach this lesson. I easily answered the questions and retold the story using the sentence starters. Or would you give yourself a 3? I was able to answer most of the questions and retold the story using the sentence starters. Or would you give yourself a 2? I was able to answer some of the questions and retold some of the story using the sentence starters. Or would you give yourself a 1? I was not able to answer the questions and did not retell the story. So, how do you think you did in reaching the learning target? 4, 3, 2, or 1? All right, boys and girls, thank you for retelling the story with me. I had fun. I hope you did too. Have a great day.